So I went on ahead and went to Finger Night School. Did that for a while, and to the point where I was fighting, not going to school, not focusing on my education seriously, hang with the wrong crowd pretty much. How do you get kicked out of night school? I got kicked out of night school, y'all. I was like, wow, I got kicked out of night school. I go to my dad's job, and I chill at my dad's job, and I walk through downtown and just seeing the scenery. So I ended up working for the park district, trying to make a little extra money, and I was selling weed and crack. My dad used to see this Indian man at his job, and he used to give him a package when I come up there, and I never knew what that package was. I had to run around outside and everything. I had to come in the house. I had to use the bathroom. When I go in the bathroom, my dad is in there snorting coke. He was shocked when I saw him. My dad is snorting coke. It's kind of fucked up, you know, but it is what it is. So I'm like, damn, you snorting coke, Pop? So I'm like, you could snort coke in this house, but I can't smoke weed. And he was like, well, I pay the bills around here. It's my house. You do what I say. After my pop told me that, I was like, okay, whatever. So I had to go out and look for something else to do, whatever. So I ended up signing up for Job Corps. Atterbury Job Corps accepted me, and I was ready to go. Went to orientation, and that's when the Job Corps world started. Atterbury Job Corps is in Edinburgh, Indiana. And that was fun, but it was a hub of all type of gangs and all kind of crazy stuff. I didn't take Job Corps life serious. I just enjoyed the women, the girls, the weed, the sex. It was fun. And I stayed in the co-ed dorm, but they made it it was strict. It was like mad strict. You get paid a little bit of money. It's funny, I met this one girl. She's from Chicago. She was cute. She was dating this gang member. Her name was Ursula. You know, her and this gang dude, they was all hot and heavy, and we was all in there just all having fun in Job Corps life. They had a boxing team with the Job Corps, and I was like, wow. So I joined this boxing team. The trainer was a big fat white guy who wasn't really showing us anything. I guess he was just there getting a check. He had us hit the bag and miss every once in a while. So I think under that trainer, I had 4 fights, and I won all 4 of my fights by brawling though. I had no boxing style, no nothing. I was just a brawler, swinging punches recklessly and everything. And I had a little reputation there. Got a tattoo on my arm of some boxing gloves because, I was doing good and everything. And it turned out that the boxing team got disbanded for some reason. Turns out that they didn't have no more funding to, take us to these little boxing venues and things and such forth. So that was sad. A week after I got that tattoo, I got sick. The girl I was talking to, her name was Dorothy. She saw me and she's like, "Your eyes are yellow." And I was like, "What?" I went to the mirror and I saw my eyes was super yellow. I was like, "What the fuck?" Went to the doctor and they did this. They quarantined me like I was a plague or something, and they rushed me into the hospital and put me on IVs and stuff, and they did blood work and come out I had the not lethal, not the bad version of hepatitis, and I was like, wow, that was messed up. Said the yellowing of my eyes was jaundice, and my skin was a funny color looking too. So they had me in there and they would just put me on these liquids and stuff. I was in there for about a week. Then I was all cleared up, and they gave me some medicines to take, and they said, luckily I got there in time, and talking about that I couldn't go back to Job Corps because I was sick, and then the guy who did my tattoos, the one that had the hepatitis in the ink, sort of a bad ordeal a little bit, but other than that, it was cool. So I went back home and back doing nothing again. hanging around, like I said, my friends and associates, and getting into mischief and doing crazy stuff as always. My pops, he hanging around with his cronies, doing his thing, you know, doing his drugs and still working with the city. My pops dated this woman named Rose. She had 3 kids: a dude named Willie Ray, girl named Felicia, and another daughter named Teresa. Boy, they were off the chain. Willie Ray, he was, I don't know what to say about him. Felicia, she was something else, and Teresa, they was something else. But well, when I came back from Job Corps, Willie Ray lived in the living room. Felicia had my room, and Teresa stayed in the room across me as my dad lived upstairs. So it was crazy. Willie Ray was a weed and crack kid. Felicia was an undercover crackhead, and Teresa, she was a blatant crackhead. I don't know what my pop saw in Rose, but they got into their little arguments or whatever. Me and Willie Ray sharing a couch in the living room. It's crazy. I think Rose didn't want me to be in the house. She said I need to have a job, and I was like, well, Willie Ray, I mean, he was doing odd men work, and the girls, they weren't doing nothing. Willie Ray was doing odd men work to support his habit. That's what he was doing. And I went back to selling weed, and I was selling crack too. My sister, she wasn't living with us at the time. I think she was living either with my auntie or one of her other relatives on our side of the family. I don't know who. Eventually, Dad and Rose broke up, but Willie Ray, Felicia, and Teresa stayed. The reason will baffle you. My father now is doing crack, you know, and he's doing crack with Felicia and sometimes with Teresa. Of course, I'm pissed as ever because bills are piling up, and every time we have food in the house, food's coming up missing, like the meats and stuff is coming up missing. A new source of people coming by, crackheads, you know, and I'm selling crack, so Teresa, she's on the low buying crack from me, Felicia on the low buying crack too. It was really, really getting out of control. Me selling crack out of my bedroom window and out of my house, the traffic was just getting like real crazy. This drew attention to the neighbors. You know, the traffic, amount of traffic, and the people coming in the neighborhood and everything. It was just crazy. I think they wanted us off the block again. My father and I, we're going through our little arguments and stuff, and you know, he's drinking and smoking crack, and his decision making is all off whack. I said out my bedroom window earlier, I got my room back from Felicia, and Felicia moved in the room with Teresa, and Willie Ray still stayed in the living room. But they used to break into my room and steal my crack and steal my work. You know, it was kind of annoying dealing with that, not knowing who did that. All the antennas in the house and the TVs and the radios were broken. You know, it was crazy because they were using it to smoke as crack pipes. I eventually got tired of dealing with the bullshit. My dad's on the verge of losing his job, and I went back down to Eufaula and stayed with my mom briefly. I was happy to see my mom and my little brother, but my mom and her rules was off the chain. But you know, I had to deal with that. I had to suck it up and deal with that. I ended up going to GED school in downtown Eufaula, and that's where I had my love at first sight thing with this young lady by the name of. So I ended up going to GED school in downtown Eufaula, is where I met my first love by the name of Latricia Larkston. She was what I thought was a thug girl, but it turned out she was just a country girl that dressed. She was far from being a thug girl though. She had a bandana hanging out the back of her pants, but that's just the way she dressed. I used to write her poems and stuff. When I told her I loved her, she looked at me and said, "You don't even know me." Like I said, I'm writing her poems and things, and one situation changed it all. Latricia and her mom took me home one day because I used to walk from Barber Creek to the school every day. I was cool with my homeboy named Steve, who was dating this girl named Sharon. We all was in school together, and one thing led to another. Now, I don't remember this part of it, but it was about, Latricia said that I came out the bathroom with Sharon, which I don't remember. Latricia didn't talk to me no more after that, and I guess I've been tardy a few times. And if you get tardy a lot, you get kicked out of there. So I got kicked out of that GED class.